Hello everybody, we are back. Sorry about the cancellation last week. For some reason, the program decided to completely stop working. It wasn't working for a solid 2 days. Couldn't get it to open. I could open old files, but I couldn't import anything into it, and it was just a whole mess. It would just crash instantly. Tried to reach support, they did not respond, and then I managed to find a tutorial on Reddit and YouTube that helped me figure it out. But yeah, it was a huge pain. Anyways, moving on. So we have these two with their walk cycles. Griff and Hazel are done, thankfully. And I was looking at Russell's walk cycle so far, and I absolutely hate it. I don't like it at all. He's swinging his arms too much, the stretch on his leg is too much, tail looks bad, everything looks kind of bad. Don't really like it. So we're gonna start fresh. Marshall, your voice sounds really low to me. Could just be me though. I mean, I have it cranked as much as I can. I'll move my microphone a little bit closer to me. And hopefully that's better. You might have to bump up your music down, voice up. Okay, I'll bump the music down. That fixed it? Okay, cool. Sounds good. Anyways, okay, so what I decided is, since we're taking the distance that these two are walking, and we're cutting it in half for music up just a little. Oh my god, okay. Okay. We're cutting it in half, but he's getting half the amount of frames. So he's moving twice as fast as these guys, but for half the distance. So in theory, if we have them doing their walks in a line, they should be going at the exact same pace, even though he is moving so much quicker. But because we're making him move fast, I decided instead of giving him this little speed walk, we're going to give him a run. So it's not really a walk cycle, it's closer to a run cycle, but I think that'll look a lot more natural once we have it done. So I figured out his little chart here, figured out the frames needed, contact passing points, all of that fun stuff before the start. But I haven't started on the skeleton yet, so you guys get to watch all of that. Alrighty, let's just hop right in. I haven't actually done a run cycle before. In theory, it's pretty much the same as a walk cycle, just a little bit different. So let's see how that goes. Okay. So for this first one, we're going to be doing the contact point, so when his front foot is just touching the ground here. So give him a little bit of an arch, figure out kind of the shape that we should have here. And for his front limbs, his front leg would be a little bit more forward, and it'd be just touching the ground. And I'm gonna move his torso forward, actually, it's a little too far back. It's the same except for the parts where it's different. Yeah, exactly. Like for a run cycle, at one point you are completely off the ground, you don't have any feet touching the ground, unlike a walk cycle where there is always at least one foot on the ground. And yeah. But like I said, I haven't actually done one before, so this is theory. Front arm should be doing like this. Back leg should be off the ground, but like that. Back arm coming forward like this. Yeah, That looks about right. We're starting with the skeleton just so we can make sure we have the basic movements and everything down. We heard it here first, running is like walking, but a little bit different. Yeah, I know, I'm very specific in my teaching. Okay, so the passing one is going to be frames 5 and 6. And the passing is when, let's turn this on, is when he's at this middle line here and his other leg is just coming forward about to touch the ground. So the front limb should be there. And there should still be a bit of a bend to his leg. And you should be a little bit straighter, I believe. Again, I've never really done a run cycle before, so we're all learning together. I am using one of the charts by Richard Williams to help me out a little bit, because he is a wonderful reference to use. I'm just gonna straight out come and ask, are Griff's eyes important? And no, Jasper, I don't mean yes, they're important, because otherwise you can't see I'm saying the door knocker connection. Okay, so yeah, I saw all of you guys commenting on Webtoon and on YouTube and everything. So the eye lights, that is just the reflection on his eyes. There is still enough light, in my opinion, for there to be a bit of a reflection with his face turned away. I chose to do one out of like dramatics, you know, the vibe of it, the aesthetic, and it made me remember the door knocker, so then when I looked back I was like, oh, that's really funny, I should make the one that's glowing look like the door knocker on his door. So it was kind of just, it was half coincidence, half on purpose. Griff's eyes are the window to his soul. You stare at them and everything feels right in the world. No, oh my god. Safe even before he punches you, that is. So yeah, the choice in eye was purposeful because I thought that would be kind of fun. It wasn't supposed to be like a huge deep thing, and I didn't realize a lot of people would look at it and be like, magic! I thought because I had previous pages with like the hyenas having the eye light reflection and Jack on the previous page has the eye light reflection, that it would come across as the eye light reflection. But apparently it didn't for some people, so that's something to keep in mind for the future. But yeah, part of it is from like the way that I'm choosing when to put the eye lights is half from experience of like having lots of large dogs and living out in the woods, and like you see them in the dark where their eyes are reflecting and it's really cool looking, but I find usually once they come up to you, if you're standing near a light, then the reflection goes away. So that's why if they're standing right next to Hazel, in my mind that seemed like enough light for the reflections to kind of disappear. And once they're kind of a little further away, like when Jack is running up to them, then they would have the eye reflection because she still is emitting a small amount of light that they're reflecting back. But yeah, it's half that and half just, I think this panel would look extra fun if there was a little bit of eye shine. Yeah. That's about it. Anyways, back to this. Okay, actually, I did this wrong. His leg should be there, but he should still be forward. So I hope that answers your question. this one should be passing. This will be kind of bent. About like this. That looks about right for the arc. Yeah, I think that looks good. Does Griff's eyes do that glowy thing that happens when you shine light onto your dog's eyes at night? Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. All of them would have that. The only animals that don't have the reflective lens behind their retinas are humans and some primates. I believe every other mammal has them, so like Hazel and the dad would have them, Herb would have them, but since they're the ones emitting the light, it seems a little silly to also give them the eye shine. I don't want to overuse it, because I think if we put it on like every single panel, it would kind of lose the effect and it would start to look kind of silly. Sometimes eyes are just cool. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I just want to draw cool things. Wouldn't see very much of this back arm, but it'd be kind of coming out. We'd see a little bit of the elbow, maybe. Okay, the next is the other contact pose on frame 9 and 10. Well, still, it is a really cool detail, unintentional or not. Thank you. And like I said, it was half intentional of like I drew the one eyelight on, and then I was like, oh wait, like their door knocker has an asymmetrical design to it. I should match that up if I can. And it happened to already, so it was kind of perfect, you know. Is Russell's walk cycle hard to make because Russell has a short and stubby body? Yes. He is very annoying to make a walk cycle for. I made one for him using the rig from the short film, and it was such a pain. It was so annoying. Yeah, just his little stubby legs were so irritating to try and make a walk with because his reach is just so slight. I just assume Russell will walk on 4 legs most of the time and only walk on 2 when needed. Yeah, he would definitely walk on 4 more often than anyone else, especially like Hazel. It's kind of like how kids go on all 4s when they're running up the stairs or something, but I feel like you just do that constantly because he's already so close to the floor, you know? Okay, which one are we on? I keep getting distracted by you guys. Contact, right. So his back foot should be coming forward now. And maybe contact. He should be about there. And this one should be kicked up. I like Russell's design though. He's small and he's perfect for it, even if it's annoying to his creator. Yeah. Animating him for the short film was pretty annoying because of his size, but he is also fun to draw because he's just a cute little guy, you know? Oh wait, nope. This arm should be going forward. I know what I'm doing. a little bit. The upper arm is looking a little too long. Yeah, that's about right. Your elbow usually comes to about your waist, so his elbow should line up to about this line here. Yeah, looking about right so far. Okay, the next passing is 13 and 14. How old is Ruskin? I went back to Webtoons to see the hyenas for reference for the game, and I noticed most commenters babyfying him. It'd be funny if he was just a grown-ass man pushing 30. Yeah, so Ruskin is a grown man. He's an adult. I didn't pick a specific age for him, but he would be like late 20s, 30s, in my mind anyways. I usually don't give them a number for their age, just because it's annoying to keep track of, and that's an easy way to get caught in like plot holes and stuff, is by getting numbers wrong. Okay, this one will be basically the same as the other passing one, but with the opposite limbs. So back leg is on the ground, and the front leg is coming forward, like so. Go. Okay, and the last contact is just the first contact once again. So we're just gonna copy and paste that in. Go. And then we should have a little run, obviously with some flashing in between, but I guess we could drag these out just to take a look. Yeah, there we go. A very, very quick little run. Sweet. Okay, time to get the in-betweens. The image of Hazel just wrap Russell with a towel like a burrito to carry him just randomly appeared in my mind. That's pretty funny. Okay. So, now that we're doing the in-between ones, the one between contact and passing is the low point, when his head is a little bit lower, and I already put the low points in the notes, but I think that's a little bit too much of a shift between them, so I'm just gonna pull this up a little bit. Come on. He's so little, he shouldn't be making any big movements, you know? Okay. Head. that. There we go. Okay, so his head should be a little bit lower. We want to try and keep it about the same size as these other two sketches, even though this is still just the rough. And his shoulders, or his torso I should say, should dip down the same amount. Go. This leg is coming forward, there's a bend in it. And this one is just in between these other two frames. Should be about yeah, that feels about right. Sorry, I keep trying to read the chat and keep up, and it's so difficult. So I'm trying to read your questions. Does magic exist in some form in Graycove, not Jedi Force powers or fantasy level magic? No. I'm gonna say no to that. There's not real, like, magic. Obviously, I don't want to say it's like sci-fi. We are trying to draw from real life a little bit, and obviously it's anthropomorphic animals. There's not a whole lot of science there, but we're not gonna be doing any like fantasy magic type stuff. Wizard lizard. Yeah, that's a good point. We did draw wizard lizard. Okay. I just realized I drew his hip too high for this. This one, those matching the in-betweens, and same with the back one. They should get bumped down. Whoop. Since it is the lower one. Would the Graycove world have other nations that are more advanced than others, or is Graycove literally the world? There are other settlements all over the place. They're not the only settlement around, so there would be ones that have slightly better like science or like technical advances, stuff like that, compared to Graycove, because Graycove specifically doesn't like human things in their settlement. But you know, having human things around like science books could be really helpful in advancing your society, theoretically. So you know, it just depends. But yeah, there probably would be other more advanced groups. Okay. So red one for this front arm should be about here to about there, these two about here. If you can read that science book, most can't. Yeah, exactly. Like Russell would be, you know, he can't read a science book, so all of that would be completely useless to him. Okay. Okay, so that elbow, so his elbow would be about here. Probably be here, so about here, I think. Okay. So now we're on frame 15 and wait, no, sorry, frame 7 and 8, which is the high point. So his head will be up here. One of the other issues I found with the other walk cycle is that I was giving him a lot of the like upper torso movement that you have in a walk cycle, but since we're speeding it up so much, it was just too much. The back and forth, like, it was too erratic. It didn't look very good. So I think with a run cycle as well, it's going to be a lot more straight on. So there will be a little bit of a twist to his shoulders and stuff, but not quite as much. Okay, torso should be a little bit higher. I've tried like 6 times to post pics of the Wolf Den / guard HQ I built in survival Minecraft, but they don't go through. Does anyone have any ideas why? I'm not sure. You posted it about that a while ago, and I'm not really sure why it's doing that. Because I didn't see them like held for review or anything. I'm not really sure why. Sorry. Okay. This other foot. Right, okay. This other foot should be swinging forward. A little bit higher. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, this is frame 11 to 12, which is another low point. Okay, this front limb. Actually, we'll do his back limb first because that's the one that's on the ground. And front limb should be about here. A bit lower. About like that. Okay. Front arm should be about like this. About here-ish. And back one. That doesn't feel right. Well, that would help. I just didn't give him arms in this one. Let's try that again. Should be a little bit higher. I think this is one of the problems I'm facing, is I did not make this one as widespread as the other ones. I'm just gonna adjust that a little bit. That looks better. Much better. Okay. A little bit higher. Arms moving so fast they warp through space. Okay. Let's make sure this is looking good. Glad you guys are enjoying the community tab. It's been popping off. Yeah, you guys have been using the community tab a lot more than I thought you would, which has been cool to see. You guys have been making some really cool stuff. Okay, I think that's looking good. Now I just need one more in between here. Okay. And this is frame 15 and 16, so it's the final high point. Oh shoot, it looks like your Minecraft post disappeared. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Hopefully Jasper can figure it out, because I definitely can't. Okay, so the blue foot is the one on the ground. And it'll be hitting back here. Front one is coming forward. Probably raised him up just a little bit too much, so let's bump him down just a little bit. I love how we're just having our own fun while Marshall's locked in on Russell's animation. I'm trying. I'm trying to read the comments and animate. Animating takes brain power and so does reading, so doing them both at once is difficult. I'm doing my best. Okay, so the front leg is coming forward to touch the ground, so it should be let's say like this. Higher. Yeah, who knows? We'll see when it's done and see if it looks okay. Okay. So, front arm is going back. Here, here, there. Back arm probably about like this. Okay, that should be all of them. Let's see how that looks. Not too bad. Let me just bump down the frames per second to slow it down a bit. Yeah, not too bad. I need to fix the hip joint that I put, because that first one especially, it should be a little bit further forward. But besides that, I don't think it's too bad. We should come up with a topic that isn't too chaotic but would confuse Marshall if they look over. That's been happening the entire chat. Before the stream even started, I was trying to read the messages, and I would look away for a minute to have like a sip of coffee or something, and I look back up and you're suddenly talking about Minecraft. You know how when you're really taxing your processor and graphics card to hear their fans really step up in speed? I kind of hear that whirring sound now from Marshall. Yeah. Both my laptop and I are suffering. It's fine. It's all for art. Okay, let's drag this forward a little bit. I'll fix this back one. I mean, we can just copy paste that first one for this. That one's not really as important. It's just handy for figuring out this frame near the end there to make sure it lines up with the start so that it does a perfect, you know, loop how you want to run to work. Okay. So because we fixed that, now it kind of looks like it pops forward, so we need to compensate with this one by dragging this hip joint forward just a little bit, which means that this should be a little more bent. So we want the hip joint to start near the front and then go to the back as he's going through the run, and same for this back leg, but obviously going in reverse. And I think that's okay now. Ooh, except for this one. This one should be a little bit more forward. Just all of it in general. Because ideally you want this ankle to line up with this line at the bottom so that the feet are moving evenly between each frame. You don't want them to suddenly pop forward because it's going to show at the end. So like ideally this ankle should line up with this here, so we're gonna take this and adjust it just a little bit. We did make that a little too long, I think. And I guess that's more so rule for walk cycles. I don't know. It should be the same rule for a run. But like I said, I've never actually done a run cycle before because they didn't teach us that in school. Marshall's PC sounds like it's boarding and about to take off. Listen, I'm working on a laptop, running a stream, and using Harmony, which requires a kind of beefy computer. And it's a very nice laptop, but it is still just a laptop, so it's doing its best. Okay. Da, da, da. Okay, that one's good. Should be in a little bit more. Oof, that like is definitely too long. Shrink that in a bit. This line looks a little too long. This is the super fun stage where I fix all of my mistakes. Actually, this one's too short now. Unfortunately, the Venn diagram for loudest laptop sounds and quietest Marshall voice is bigger than you. Sorry. I'm trying to talk at a normal volume. I'm doing my best. It is not natural to me to speak loudly. Okay, let's put this again. Yeah, not bad. Could be better, could be worse. This is still just the skeleton, so I can't be too picky. Who is talking? That would be me, Marshall. I'm the creator of Tales from Graycove and the channel. And Jasper's coming to put something behind my laptop, or behind the microphone, so hopefully you won't be able to hear the laptop fan as much. So ignore the weird bumping around it's probably coming through. And we'll see if that fixes it, I guess. For my boy Russell, keep up the good work. Thank you, Russell and I both appreciate it. Question about Graycove. Did the disaster that led to the anthropomorphic population have to do with a technology failure? It feels important given the state of Marshall's laptop IRL. That's funny. I cannot answer that, because it's a spoiler. Also, what is Graycove? Graycove is the setting, the fictional setting of the comic that we're making. If you're interested, there's a link in the description of the video And if it's cut off like YouTube sometimes likes to do, even though I made sure to copy paste the full link, there's also a link in my bio. Let's go, the Queen of Graycove is animating. I'm trying. Okay, skeleton is done. Sorry, I keep getting distracted by chat. So now we're gonna do the rough sketch for Russell. So just name the file real quick, because if you don't, then that's how you lose your stuff. Put that over top. And let's get started. Okay, so according to Jasper, the sound issues should be fixed because he put a dishcloth over top of the microphone. Hopefully you can still hear me talk. And if there are any issues, let us know and we will fix it by removing the cloth. Okay. This limb should probably be about this thick. We're basically just going over the skeleton very roughly and just giving shape to his limbs, pretty much. Voice sounds cleaner now. Well, that's good. Holy crap, I found them on here. I follow Graycove also. An ad came up right as you're answering my question. Sorry about that. We gotta make a little bit of money from these streams. We gotta try and keep the lights on in Graycove somehow. Marshall, do animals like dogs and domestic cats exist in the Graycove universe? Yes. We haven't really seen any yet, but they do exist, and we have plans for that in the future that I'm obviously not going to get into too much. I feel like Jasper and Marshall are complete opposites, and that is why they get along. I don't know about complete opposites. We definitely have a lot of similar but slightly different traits. So like we are both very creative people, but our outlets for that are very different. So like Jasper, sorry, he just came in the room and is staring at me.
You're right, we're very different.
Okay. So yeah, there you go. He answered in the background. Don't know if you heard it. Jasper jump scare. This arm is definitely too big. That's a bit better. Babe, how they like my voice. Yes, he has a very nice voice. Okay, we're not gonna give him ears yet. We're basically just fleshing out the skeleton at the moment. Same with like tail, things like that. I like to add those after the fact. So just start with the basics and then kind of build up. I mean, one of the annoying things about Russell is that he kind of doesn't have a neck. He kind of just goes from torso to head, and like his cheek fluffs really hide his neck area. Which makes this a pain, and is one of the reasons why he's annoying to draw. Wait, y'all are partners? That's so cute. Yes, so Jasper's my fiance. He proposed to me with a sword. He did not know that I had told my friends in high school that my dream proposal would be with a sword. He just knew that I would love that, and he was right. But yes, Jasper is my fiance. Okay, just want to make sure we have the same. I think this might be a little bit small for his snout. Yeah, it is. Let's make his snout a little bit longer here. Especially if it's like a side profile, we want this to be a little bit longer. He's got a long face. Another reason why he is a little annoying to draw. He has a very long face. So doing drawings where like he's holding something in front of his eyes is kind of hard because he doesn't have a lot of reach. Was Graycove inspired by Inherit the Earth? No, it was partially inspired by needing to do a short film for college and having deer and fox doodles in most of my notebooks. And being like, perfect, these guys. The best things in life are accidents most of the time. Yeah, it was a big part of the start of it was also me wanting to be contradictory because I started drawing the deer and the fox characters in class and someone was like, oh, are they best friends? Like, what's their relationship? And I immediately went, no, they're siblings. And then I stuck with that. The relationship was born out of petty. Yeah, and I mean, the whole world uh, kind of came out of nihilism, where I was seeing a lot of news reports about like different environmental things that were happening and like, you know, coral reefs dying and you know, just all of the bad environmental news that you can see. And I read a piece of advice where it was like, if you're trying to write a world, write one that you'd want to live in. And I was like, great, let's make one where all of the humans are dead and go from there. And then this cute little world came out of that negativity. So, you know, use what you got. Marshy, please look at my above idea ahead. Perfect idea for the next stream. Alternate universe. Hazel and Russell. Oh yeah, we talked about that once before. That's a fun idea. We'll do that. I think we were gonna do like the Russell as a maned wolf because they kind of just look like really long foxes. And Hazel is one of those really tiny little deers that I forget the name of. Make him a polar bear or a borzoi or something. Well, then he's just a different species. He doesn't even look like Russell. At least with like a maned wolf, it's just similar colors and stuff. You know? This one should be maybe a little bit bigger. Or at least wider. Yeah, about that. Did I draw his neck? Yeah, I did. Okay. I was thinking a key deer for Hazel. They're like 1/3 scale whitetails. I think that's the one I was thinking of because they look. I can picture it in my mind. I just don't remember the name. They look very similar to like a white-tailed deer, but they're just little. They're so cute looking. Just many quick sketches of them as alternate things, like the brother and sister short but actually alive. That's fair. Go mythical and make him a Kitsune and Hazel a Kelpie or something. That would be fun. This one is just this one, copy and paste it in. Okay, we're just gonna turn off the skeleton. Okay, flashing is really bugging out my eyes. Let's just bump this up. Now I should put this back to 24 frames. Yeah. Not bad. I think it's looking alright so far. And it's not going to be perfect at this stage. This is still the rough sketch where, you know, we figure everything out first and then we clean it up later and make our edits as they're needed. Don't tell Marsha I'm making grilled cheese. I want one too. You all heard it here. Legally, he has to make me one. I'm his spouse. We need to know we chant in unison. Need to know what? What's the situation on that coyote with the eye patch? They'll be in the comic eventually. I'm not sure exactly when yet. Turn this back on. Marshall, you should draw Russell with stilts. I think that was one of Jasper's suggestions when I was complaining about this walk cycle and having to redo it. And it's like, just give him a normal walk cycle, but put him on stilts so he can keep up. No, that's not quite the vibe. And if this one doesn't work, I'm putting him on Beatrice, and I'm animating Beatrice's walk cycle, and he gets to sit there because he's being annoying. But I think this run will work. Duct tape him to Beatrice. That's funny. it was a fair fight, how many of the hyenas could Hazel have beaten? Good question. I'm trying to remember how many she managed to take out in the comic. I want to say like maybe 4? Imagine Hazel and Griff chasing a criminal and they let Russell chase after them. Kind of like the baby scene from The Croods. I have thought about doing that scene with the release the baby line, but it's just Russell. But I haven't done that. There are a bunch I want to make eventually. Oh, that's a good point, Jesper. In a fair fight, she would be 1 because a fair fight is a 1v1. I think it would depend more on the specific hyena. Because, like, Matriarch in her prime would slaughter Hazel. This needs to drop a little bit more. If the characters from Graycove were to play D&D, what classes would they be? Oh, we actually had a really long conversation about that forever ago. I think I said Hazel would be a cross between a monk and a druid. I think I said Russell would be a rogue for obvious reasons. And I think I said I wanted Griff to be a barbarian. It was either barbarian or fighter. They seem very similar in my mind, to be honest. Right, okay, now we're doing the high pose. Okay, yeah, I know barbarian and fighter are different, but they're in like the same genre, you know? I did that wrong. Jack would be fighter, Griff would be barbarian. Yeah, that feels right. I agree. What about the one drunken canine creature that was getting yelled at by Griff? Is it reasonable to make up fan fiction about that character that was in a few frames and was drunk the whole time? I mean, go right ahead. You don't really have a whole lot to work with. Sorry, go nuts. If it helps, he is in a couple of the shorts, because he's the guy that Hazel threatens to knock the teeth out of with a beer bottle or something. I forget. And he was the one in the patient calling Hazel a skinny witch, I think. And yeah, he's a dingo. Yeah, he flipped off Hazel while being in jail. Okay, how is this looking? Not bad, I don't think. Poor Herb, watching Hazel and Russell, shaking his head in mild disappointment, not at the breaking and enter, but that they didn't check if the door was locked first. That's really funny. Guys, unfortunately I'm off to bed. It's been lovely chatting to everyone, but chaotic. I must bid you all adieu. Well, thank you for joining us, Pink. Have a lovely rest of your evening. Okay. Last one. This is so much better than watching the news. It's a lot less informative, also. Even when I'm trying to teach animation and drawing, I'm not the most articulate teacher, and I've never been the most patient. This probably says something about me. If I had laser eyes, I'd use them to point at things in the night sky and be like, oh, there's Andromeda, so people would know what I'm looking at. Yeah, I think I just use it for crime. What are you talking about, Marshall? Fox runs, that's all I need to know. Well, good, because that's all you're gonna learn from this. Alright, let's turn off the skeleton and turn that off and see how it looks. Not terrible. I definitely made his arms a little too big on some of these. I can see it now. They're huge in comparison to the rest of them. That's okay, we can fix that. Thankfully it's just some of the frames, they're too big. Oh, look at this one, what was I thinking? Oof. This leg should be a little bit bigger. I tried drawing Russell from a reference and it's really hard, his body weird. Yeah, that's the issue I have too. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, I looked over at the chat and all I saw was, okay, yeah, but what if you hit Griff, who is flying in his little propeller hat in space? And I don't have any context about what you guys are talking about. Oh, it's the laser thing. Okay. I'm curious if Russell would look nice with a more bubbly run. I still like what you have, though. Yeah, I could see him with a bit more bubbly of a run than this. I think this is a good, I'm just trying to keep up with these guys run. For now anyways. If I wanted to get started with drawing anther characters like in Graycove, would you have any advice in where to start? I'm always kind of intimidated by drawing people and animals. Unfortunately, the best way to get better is by drawing people and animals. The best piece of advice that I ever got from an art teacher that I tell everyone who asks for art advice is to try and learn how to draw things realistically first, and then try and learn how to draw them as a cartoon, because if you can draw them realistically, it is so much easier to simplify those shapes into a cartoon. So yeah, unfortunately, step one is to go draw people and animals. And then it just gets easier to draw them as a cartoon later. You have a stronger foundation to work off of. And learning things like perspective, anatomy, all of that kind of stuff, it just helps. You know, realism is one of the strongest foundations that you can start your art career on. And thankfully I really lucked out with a wonderful teacher who taught realism and like fine arts and traditional painting methods and all that kind of stuff. So I learned that first, and then I took a fine arts program, which delved even deeper into all of that. And then I went off to animation school, and it just really, really helped, you know? But honestly, everything, it just takes practice, you know? It's, even if you just do 15 minutes a day, it can be really, really helpful. And that's your best place to start. And like, just because like you could be drawing only cartoons right now, and like just because you didn't start with realism first doesn't mean you're not going to be good at drawing cartoons. I just find it can be really helpful in translating something into a cartoon format to know how to draw it realistically first and then break it down. So breaking it down into those basic shapes, you know? How long did it take you to call your art decent? That's a really tricky question, because I think at every single point you see a little bit of progress and then you're like, wow, I'm so good at this. And then, you know, 2 months later you look back and you're like, oh, that's embarrassing. Like, I can't believe I made that. I'll look at something from like last year and I'll still say like, ooh, that's embarrassing. I've gotten better since then. So you're constantly just in a state of improvement. So it just depends. Okay. Well, I think I'll give him ears now.
Blame them for distracting me.
Jasper burnt my grilled cheese, and it's all your guys' fault. That's okay. I like burnt food, to be honest. Sometimes. When it's like grilled cheese, it's good. Okay. So I got the rough down. I think what I want to do next is give him... a face would probably be good. Those are kind of important. Ooh. I'm just gonna scooch all that over. I'm gonna go Russell face. Okay. Thank you. Jasper was very lovely to make me a grilled cheese and bring it to me. Unfortunately, it's gonna sit here and taunt me for the next hour and a half because I'm not gonna eat on stream. Okay, let's give him some ears. Thankfully, he is a side profile. That's hardly going to change, so his shoulders are facing us a little bit more, so we're going to see just a little bit of ear go on Graycove. Not yet. I'm good. Give him a little bit of a nose. I know we didn't really give those guys mouths, but I feel the need to give him one a little bit. Let's leave that for now. We'll deal with that later. What's not with the Marshall ASMR today? Yeah, you guys don't want to hear me eat a sandwich. That doesn't sound fun for me either. Okay. We'll give him some cheek fluffs. In this part of the run, it's coming out of the high lift. So it'd be a little bit more up. I don't think we're not gonna do it too crazy because that was the issue with this one, is there's too much movement, and like, look at those cheek fluffs. I don't really like how they're moving. They're too much, you know? So we're just gonna do very subtle movement, or we're gonna try to. We'll see. Hi, just wanted to pop in and say you're awesome and your animations never fail to make me laugh or smile. Thank you. Well, thank you. Always nice to hear. Okay, so the passing one would be the exact side profile where we only see the one ear. Actually, we'll move it forward just a little bit. And your cheek fluffs would be up just a little bit more because he's dropping down. But like I said, we're doing very minimal movements for this stuff, so it doesn't look too erratic. Okay. Drops down, and then he's going up. Well, I'm going to sleep, companions. I hope a future encounter goes as well as today. Well, thank you for joining us. Have a good rest of your evening. Okay. This is when he's dropping down again. Keep the ear fluffs about the same. We should move them forward just a little bit, since his back is facing us now. But again, very minimal shift. And his eye might shift a little bit forward. Same with his ear. Okay, this one. Be able to see the other ear a little bit. This side. And his nose is about there. Okay. Now this is another perfect side profile. So we can even just copy paste this one. So it should be about the same. And copy paste this one. At the very end. Alright, cronies, I'm gonna also say goodbye because I have to go to bed and get ready for it and whatnot. See you, my dear fellows. Awesome. Have a good night. Thank you for joining us. Okay, do the in-betweens. Although since it's dropping down, that makes it a little bit tricky, but we'll draw it like this and then just bump it down. Not really much of a huge difference between these ones. Actually, I think that first ear is probably sticking out a little bit too much. So we're going to shrink it back a little bit. This one. So in this one, it's just barely peeking out there. I was meaning to ask, I know you probably won't give a direct yes or no, but is my post about Cultist Lake being a possible location for Graycove at least a little close? Yeah, exactly what Jasper just said. We've never heard of that lake before. So, hope that answers your question. Okay. Well, there. They gave me an oddly specific area of 7 kilometers for the lake size, so it's gonna. I'm going primarily off of that, assuming you actually have a real lake in mind. Okay, so we did have a real lake in mind when we were first planning Graycove, but the lake that we had in mind is not in the location of Graycove. We chose a specific lake that I like that is nowhere near where Graycove is located. So, like, I guess you could consider the lake semi-fictional, but there are also lakes in the area where Graycove is, so it's not, you know, it all fits. Jasper, do you ever want to have Russell find your proposal sword as an Easter egg in the story for friends and family? Yep, exactly what Jasper just said. We can't tell you. Okay. This one's peeking out just a little bit. And then we grab everything and bump it up. Can I at least tell them the type of sword? Yeah, alright, go ahead. I don't see the harm in that. Yeah, the sword Jasper got me is a traditional Scottish claymore, because my family, part of my family, is from Scotland. And he also gave me a dirk, which is kind of like a short sword, I guess, or a very long dagger. I don't know. Either way, it's cute and I love it. Okay. If all goes well, I should look alright. Yeah, not bad. It's still... The ears still kind of just pop in very suddenly, but I guess that's gonna happen unless we just keep his head in a exact side profile the entire time he's running. That's gonna happen because it's such a snappy and quick run cycle. So that's okay. I'm fine with that. I'm probably gonna change his cheek fluffs later because I didn't really give them much movement. But I'm not too worried about that right now. Okay. Now, let's give him a tail, which is the part I have been dreading. think because he's running, it's gonna be mostly just... Oh. It needs to be thicker and shorter. Okay, how do I want to do this? Okay, so this part of the run. Okay, I'm just gonna guess. Maybe. We'll see. Usually, okay. Don't like that. Let's try again. Appropriate size bump floof for your floof. Yeah, we can't add too much movement because that was the issue I was having when I was trying to make this one. And like even that, it's moving too much. I don't like how it looks. I don't really like how this one looks either at the moment, but we shall make adjustments once we have some of this sketched out, I think. Yeah. I think I'm going to start with this, and then I'm going to use keyframes to add a little bit more movement to it, and hopefully it's not too much. But we shall see. What do you use to animate? I'm currently using Toon Boom Harmony. That's what I use for these kind of animations. For like the shorts on my channel, since they're animatics, I use the animation feature on Procreate because I find it easier to draw in. Plus, it's nice to be able to make the shorts while I'm like watching TV on the couch or something with an iPad. Okay, now I'm going to adjust these up and down for the high and low points. Okay. Okay. Let's give this a movement peg. And we're just gonna quickly open this up. Peg. And then we're gonna add some keyframes and do just a little bit of animating with this. Just put a keyframe here. So that doesn't move every single frame. A little bit up. And then for this one, it'll be a little bit down. This one a little bit up again. And for this one a little bit down. I think I can get rid of that one. It should be okay. Okay, let's see what it looks like. Oof. I don't care for that. Okay. What if we had a little bit more of a bend to it? That might fix it, might make it worse. We'll see. I don't like that. Okay. I don't care for this tail. We're starting over. Barely. Let's try again. Make it move more on the z-axis. I think the issue is that we can't have it move too much because then it snaps too much and it looks really awkward. It's that damn tail. Yeah, it was the same issue as last time. This is one of those things where I just might never be happy with it, and I might always be changing what it looks like. Let's give it more of a give it more of a fun shape. Maybe that'll fix some of this for me. Actually, let's try something stupid. I like that shape. Yeah, me too. I like this shape better. Nope, I did that opposite. My bad. Let's try that again. If he is going down, the tail goes up. That is the rule. Just a little bit. And then when he's going up, the tail should be going down. Down, tail should go up. We'll make some other adjustments for placement after this. Even without the context of it being a tail, that was just a very nice shape in general. I don't know why. Yeah, fair enough. I think S-curves can be visually pleasing to the eye. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but okay, this one, move it in a little bit. That placement's okay. Just a little bit. I should come in a little bit. Back out just a little bit. Coming down here just a bit, and then on this one should be going up. Okay, let's see. Oof, that is terrible. I absolutely hate it. Good stuff. I knew it would be bad. I knew that going in. That was me being lazy. So, let's delete that. And third time's the charm. Usually, we'll delete the movement peg. We'll keep this first drawing of the tail because this is a good shape. But I was trying to be lazy by just taking that drawing and moving it around with the keyframes and movement pegs and everything. But yeah, it was way too stiff. So we're gonna have to it's definitely a little static. The trying stuff is still in progress. Yeah, exactly, like slightly better than the first one. Is she ending stream soon? I missed so much because I left as soon as it started. Nope, I usually go till 9:30, so and it's 8:30 for me, so there's still about another hour. I think this is a good time for me to go get a drink of water, though, and take a quick break, and to lower my temper before I get mad at this tale. So I will be right back. Okay, I am back. Okay. I was trying to decide how I want to go about this in the least frustrating way possible. Okay. I think. Okay, no, that's too much. We need to add at least a little bit of movement to the tail, or else it looks bad. If we put too much, it looks bad. So it's gonna be one of those really annoying, specific middle range that I have to find. And that is okay. We will figure this out. And also anything Jasper says about the gender of the characters above is a lie, obviously. Cries and tails being impossible. Don't tempt me. And here I thought this was a partnership. Apparently my input doesn't matter. You don't get to just declare in the middle of a stream that all of the dogs are boys and the cats are girls. That's too far. And yes, Crispy is working on a Graycove game, and they've posted some of the clips in the community post area, and it looks so cool so far. Like, I can't imagine how much work that must be, because I don't know how to make games, but like, it's been really cool to see the process of. So you should definitely go check it out. And like the little pixelated fight animations and Hazel's little dance when she wins is really cute. Okay, if this one doesn't work, I'm giving up on the tail for tonight. Okay. Each one is getting a little bit closer, but all of them are bad. Maybe if I add a little more movement, keyframes, that'll fix everything. I doubt it, but let's see. Ooh, nope. Okay, this one. Okay, but in all seriousness, have a great night, everyone. Awesome, thanks for joining us, Crispy. Hope you have a good rest of your evening. It's nice to hear Marshall compliment a fan project, very thoughtful. I mean, yeah, have you seen it, though? Like, it's so cool. I mean, anytime you guys make fan comment, I'm always just blown away. That anyone thinks my work is cool enough to want to make more of it. Like, that's a very big compliment as a creator. So it's just very, very cool to see. I'm just so lost by this point. Yeah, me too. The chat gets very confusing when you're missing, or you're only reading like 1 out of 5 messages. Okay. A little bit. Oh wait, no, not that one. Okay, let's see. Okay, the issue is definitely this one. But I think we can fix it just by shrinking it a little. Oop, I was in the wrong frame. Shrinking it a little bit because it's kind of popping up too much, and it looks like it's not moving as much as it's just kind of getting larger or longer, whatever. So hopefully... Strange thought, but I wonder if flipping it would fix everything. Probably not, but let's see. Nope, definitely not. Because I did it wrong. Nope, much worse. That was a fun experiment. By the way, Marshall, the tail is looking so good. I still don't like it. I'm gonna stop working on it for tonight. The tail specifically, we're still streaming. Because I don't think anything I do with it is gonna make me happy at this point. So we're gonna ignore the tail. I'm gonna keep these drawings so I can look back at them later, but I'm disappearing this tail because I don't want to look at it anymore. Let's start cleaning him up a little bit, I think. They took Russell's tail. Yeah, it was pissing me off, so it got banished. Okay, so we're gonna start cleaning him up. Russell's face isn't a perfect triangle like this, so I'm gonna add a little bit of dip right here, and we're gonna give him an eyebrow. We're basically just following the same guides that we just made. But just cleaning them up a bit because they're all pretty rough. And we're gonna add in some details we didn't have previously. Miss Dragon Dreamer. Thank you for joining us. We are currently trying to animate a walk cycle. Or, I guess not a walk cycle, a run cycle. And I'm just starting to clean it up and add some details. Does Graycove have holidays like Easter? They wouldn't have Easter and they wouldn't have any human holidays, but similarly to humans, they would have holidays around specific times of the year. So, like, you know, lots of different cultures have festivals in the fall because that's when the harvest is, so there's something to celebrate. They have one in winter to kind of just give a positive outlook on a really terrible time of the year where survival is a little bit harder. Stuff like that. But they don't have any. The human holidays, they wouldn't have them like Easter, Christmas, stuff like that. They would have their own holidays, their own traditions. We haven't really gotten into those yet. Walking cycle, slow and chill for us, absolute murder for you. You got it. The reason why he doesn't have a tail right now is because it was making me mad. That is the entire reason. What about Groundhog Day? It would be really funny to give them a holiday called Groundhog Day, but it has absolutely nothing to do with our interpretation of Groundhog Day. It's just a day to celebrate your neighborhood groundhog. could see Hazel and Russell finding pictures or books about random holidays and doing small celebrations on their own. That could be fun, especially if it was like they completely misinterpreted what the holiday was. Like they were going off of just pictures and they had absolutely no idea what was happening. So they're taking things out of context. That could be pretty funny. Bro probably saw the time knife. They're stuck in the Jeremy Bearimy. Do they have the same months like us? January, February, March, etc.? Yes. Maybe not. I haven't actually thought that closely about it. They would most likely just have summer, spring, winter, fall. But I think it would depend on which characters you look at. I think one of the first shorts I saw was the one where Russell and the coyote were robbing the person by pretending to be their family with the talking horse. Yeah, I wanted to do an Over the Garden Wall one so badly. And I'd still like to eventually do one for that one clip where it's like, I'm the highwayman. And I started animating one of the hyena carts doing like the exact same weird little dance that the guy does in that clip. But it was taking me such a long time and I had other stuff to work on, so I haven't looked at it in like a year maybe. Yeah, and Jesper really, really wanted me to do the Highwayman clip. The other clip that I saw was a soundbite of Easy A and that kid going, "I think I'm adopted." Oh my god, who told you? Yeah, I heard that one and almost immediately was like, I need to use this for Russell. It's perfect. Oh my god, they're so cute, marble foxes. Oh yeah, marble foxes are really cool looking. I started drawing Night Bean as a joke and it's turning out way better than I thought. That's always fun. It's always the drawings that you go into with the least amount of effort in mind or, you know, just not really caring about that always end up turning out the best. Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Luke. Have a good rest of your evening. Okay, let's see how this cleanup is looking so far. Yeah. Not bad. Now it's time for the in-betweens. Which is much more difficult and annoying because they're the high points and the low points. When in-betweening is usually just drawing the exact middle ground between the two drawings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw them in that exact middle point and then just shift it down. Because that should make it easier but still keep the same movement that's needed. Could do his tail on its own and slap it on after. Yeah, so that's exactly what we're doing. I did technically make a tail earlier, so you can see it here. But I don't like how it turned out. It's too jittery, it doesn't look natural, it's too stiff. And like I've done a couple different versions now. Like we had an old Russell walk here, and I've just been not enjoying it. So for now, we're taking his tail away because it causes me a lot of mental anguish, and I will fix it later off stream so you guys don't have to hear me cuss it out. Yeah, tail privileges lost. He was making me mad. He doesn't get to have a tail now. For a couple days, maybe. We'll see. I was gonna say it feels like it needs more frames. Yeah, that's the entire issue. If I were doing this at the same rate as a normal walk cycle, I know I could figure it out. Like, Griff's tail looks fine in his walk cycle. Oh, it'd be nice if you could actually see the whole thing. What's this? Yeah, like, his looks fine. It's the fact that we have half of the frames for Russell's walk that's making or giving me a lot of issues here. So who knows, if I get frustrated enough, his tail might be animated on ones, but then I'm worried it's gonna look unnatural next to the rest of it, which are animated on twos. So we'll see. Where was I? There we go. I need to head tonight, so good luck with Russell's fluffy ass tail. Thank you. Have a good night, dragon. Okay, not too bad. Oops. I'm already liking this rough more than this one over here. I think it already looks a little more natural of a walk. He's swinging his arms just as much, but not in that weird kind of up by his shoulders way. Just posted my drawing. Check it out. I don't know. I'll check it out after the stream. I'm worried if I open another web browser tab, everything is gonna crash and burn and fall apart. My poor little laptop can't handle that. Okay, we'll do the same thing with this one. We'll draw the in-betweens and then just bump it up afterwards to match the other one. Jasper just sent me a picture of the night bean drawing Luke. I like it. Very fun. Old one looks like he's speed walking. Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. I was trying to make a speed walk. But yeah, I didn't end up liking it. Which is why we're redoing it. And like I threatened earlier in the stream, if he keeps acting up by making this really hard for me, I'm gonna be putting him on Beatrice, and Beatrice will be doing a normal paced walk cycle to keep up with them. Beatrice is the answer to all problems. Yeah, like I said, if he keeps acting up, he's gonna lose his walking privileges. Does the drunken dingo have an actual name yet? No, we haven't named him. We have a lot of characters like that we kind of create in the moment, but don't give any, like, a ton of specifics into. I think he might become more of a character in the webcomic a little bit in the future. So obviously then we're gonna have to flesh out his character beyond just being a dingo who has alcohol problems. First the tail, now this. Poor Russell. Yeah, well, that's what happens when he makes his creator mad. See? He's supposed to have an elbow here, and I completely forgot about it. Can you name him Kip? We got a dingo here named Kip, or you can name him after me. Kip bit me, actually. Me and Kip aren't on speaking terms right now because of that. That's funny. Give the dingo guy an ex-spouse and kids that he lost in the divorce. I mean, we did give him a wife in one of the shorts where Hazel's threatening him in front of his wife. So maybe that'll be his ex-wife. We'll see. Okay, it looks like we're coming up on 9:30 here, which is usually when I stop. But I'm gonna finish up this last frame here, and then we can call it a night. So if you have any burning questions bothering you, this is your time. You have until the end of this drawing task. What is the coyote with the eye patch's name? See, the issue is, I think I've named her like 20 times, and I think one of them was even on stream, and I keep forgetting what the name is. And for the life of me, I can't tell you because I don't remember. I'm sure I have it written down somewhere. She will eventually show up in the comic. I don't know when. Maybe she'll just be a nameless character. Or changes aliases on the daily or something. I was not joking, by the way. We do have a dingo here named Kip. I work at the zoo. Okay, well, that makes sense. As to how and why you got close enough to it for it to bite you. And Kip bit me. Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, he is a dingo. He's a wild animal. It happens. One of my grandma's dogs used to bite me all the time as a puppy. Yeah, it's part of having any pet. You run the risk of getting bit by them eventually. And like puppies especially, they like to nip when they're little. I've had a couple of German Shepherds, and usually my trick is just anytime they go to bite me, I just shove my hand further down their mouth, or I replace it with a toy. Any way to make it slightly uncomfortable for them so they don't want to do that anymore. Okay, not bad. We're missing that last frame at the end, and there's definitely some edits I'm gonna have to make in here. But all in all, it's not looking too bad. Alright, well, it's gonna save here, and we're gonna call it a night here. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't seen the newest page yet, you should go check it out. It went up earlier today. And I like it a lot. It is just a page with a lot of hugging in it. But yeah, have a good night, and we'll see you next time.